There is a fine line between fairy tale witch and just dark elf. This is also kind of giving dark elf, right?
You are an outfit repeater.
Hey guys, today we're just going to be playing dress up and putting together some fantasy and fairy tale inspired outfits. If you can't tell, that's just kind of where my mind is right now. It's fine. It's a totally normal, totally healthy coping mechanism. Don't worry about it. Before we jump into the outfits themselves, I do have a short list of some things you can look for either in your own wardrobe or next time you're thrifting. Some things that help make an outfit look more fantasy inspired. So the things I typically look for are flouncy cuffs and ruffles, bell sleeves, especially bell sleeves are wonderful. Lace-up detail either at the neck, on the sleeves, kind of anywhere, but not in like the Fashion Nova way. I think you know it when you see it. I don't think I need to explain. When it comes to skirts and dresses, I typically opt for longer lengths. White and ivory blouses and dresses work wonderful as an underlayer, as like a chemise, or just to layer under things. In general, layering is going to be a big part of these types of outfits. When it comes to the fabrics themselves that I typically look for, I usually opt for richer textures like velvet, corduroy, satin, suede, lace details, and anything that is a natural fiber or looks kind of like it could be a natural fiber. For me personally, I just find that looking for things that look more like a natural fiber give a little bit more realism and make it look and feel less costumey. Can't always be avoided, but that's just something I look for. Leather in particular, faux leather is okay, but again, it just has that synthetic look. So if you're able to thrift something that's real leather, particularly with boots and belts, which I'll come back to, that's going to be a really good item. I love being able to thrift stuff in real leather. It's just going to last you longer too. If you take good care of your leather, honestly, it's way more sustainable than plastic leather. In general, the colors I go for tend to be neutrals and earth tones. Jewel tones are also good, but you're probably not gonna find too much that's like neon and super bright and over the top. Again, not that you can't make it work. These are just my personal preferences. And then, like I already hinted at, boots and belts are going to be a huge part of your outfit. The right belt and pair of boots can really take a plain blouse and skirt combination in that much more whimsical fantasy direction. Okay, I need to not sit on my feet like that. They're falling asleep. Okay, so leather belts that have multiple buckles are really good. Riding boots typically, but you can also get away with, you know, those like off-brand plain type of combat boots that don't have too much detail. They almost look kind of like a roper boot, but I find that a good belt and a good pair of boots are really the key items. And lastly, just a quick note on accessories. Now, typically, if I really wanted to dress like a fantasy character, I probably would not have earrings that are like mini axes, because realistically, in a fantasy story, such an oxymoron, some motifs that can be fun to add into your outfit, they might not be exactly realistic to what a character in those fantasy stories would wear, but they're thematically appropriate. So I think anything with like weapons, swords, axes, anything with wings, delicate little flowers, leaves, sometimes bugs, generally like earthy kind of motifs work pretty well, but not like super bold, chunky, or vibrant patterns and motifs with this. Usually you want more delicate and understated. So I know I've just thrown a lot at you, so let's just go ahead and get into the outfits and hopefully give you some examples to go along with that. So I'm going to loosely base this lookbook around different character types, different character tropes. So we're going to start with a pirate-inspired outfit. And so this is what I would go with for a more subtle take on that type of character. Now, I know you're probably thinking, Melody, there is nothing subtle about that blouse. Really, there isn't. So this has elements of what I would put into a pirate costume without being explicitly a pirate costume. So I went with the ruffly blouse, black skinny jeans just tucked into some leather boots. So here's a prime example of what I mean by the boots being a huge part of it. I feel like if I went with a different shoe, this would have a totally different feeling as an outfit, but these boots to me give a much older feeling to the outfit. And I think if I wanted to keep it simple and subtle like this, I would just add my leather jacket to it, call it a day, but I want to lean into the pirate look a little bit more. This jacket is huge on me, but it's the best thing I have that goes with kind of a captain type of look, although the blouse is really leaning very 80s. There's a lot of 80s fashion that just looks kind of piratey though, so that might be a good source of inspiration. So really at the heart of it, it's a pretty simple combination with just a flouncy white blouse and then black skinny jeans, but adding leather riding boots and then playing around with belts is going to add those details that you want. I really only like this belt with this outfit. I tried this other one that I have, just wasn't really loving it overall. And here's a variation with a skirt. I know that this isn't strictly a pirate look, but just using that as the baseline for inspiration. So this time I went with a linen blouse that has the lace up the front and a long brown skirt. Again, I just have riding boots. You're pretty much just gonna see either my black or brown riding boots throughout this video. And then I went with my chunky brown buckle belt. What I often see people wear for a pirate-inspired outfit is something more like this, and I think that's fine. That still works. It does get the point across, but for me personally, it's just that 2% further into costume territory that I don't really care for. I think primarily because of the type of material. It's very clearly like a cheap faux leather, and then it has the elasticated waist, which is fine. Like I said, if you like that, you know, wear it. I think it still looks cool. I just personally prefer the leather belts if I can find them. Having the more muted palette with this off-white and brown though, it does feel a little bit more like just your random crew member, less captain-y. And everything here is pretty interchangeable with the stuff I had for the first pirate outfit, so really look for those basic interchangeable pieces and some good boots and good belts and just have fun with it. So we're gonna venture into Middle Earth a little bit for these next few character types. If you can't tell, this one is Hobbit. So I have these fantastic like dark rusty corduroy pants that I just never wear. I don't really know how to style them, and they also are a little bit big around my waist, so they've been languishing in my closet until now. I thought these are the perfect Hobbit pants, obviously. I again kept the linen blouse with the lace up. I feel like, especially for hobbits, things that are those natural fibers and really have those like earthy textures are gonna be perfect. And then I wasn't sure what to add from there until I remembered I have this vest. I don't know if the pattern is necessarily hobbity, but I feel like it goes with everything else and still kind of creates that type of look. Maybe not so much the other side with the chickens on it, but I think it works. For right now, I didn't go with any boots because hobbits don't wear shoes, but obviously if we're going out into the world, we need some kind of shoe. So, you know, break out your Birkenstocks, your favorite sandal, or just a simple boot will still work. So this is one Hobbit variation, and I do kind of like the maroon velvet over it too. I don't love how the shirt pokes out like that though, so it's just that this color velvet reminds me of Bilbo Baggins. I mean, how could it not? So I'm liking this, just not so much with the pants. Let me try it with a skirt. So here's an outfit using those same two tops, still using the lace-up linen top underneath the maroon velvet top. Like, it's not a perfect outfit, but I like it. I actually really like this brown with the maroon. It's kind of just a very cozy color combination. And I also went with my fabric corset belt just to create some separation there and define the waist a little bit more. It is a lot of layers happening right here though. Let's try one more Hobbit outfit though. I think I'll make this my last Hobbit outfit and then we'll move on. But I wanted to create one with this puff sleeve dress that I have. It's a pretty common, pretty popular style right now that a lot of people have or can find access to. So again, I just threw on the brown skirt over top as well as my fabric corset belt. The skirt I thrifted. It was a dress and I just turned it into a skirt. The belt I did get on thread up. That's typically where I get my belts just because I don't find good ones in the brick and mortar thrift stores around here. So as far as finding really cool corset belts or belts with cool buckles and stuff, you're probably going to have better luck online, either with thredUP or Poshmark, wherever you like to shop online. You could also go with a corset top if you have one. I don't have one at the moment, so that's why I'm just going with belts for all of these. So again, fairly simple, interchangeable pieces. It's just about how you combine them. Moving on now to my favorite type of character to dress up as, an elf. Typically for a more elf-inspired look, I try to go with items that are longer. So if I wanted to go more understated with an elf-inspired outfit, I would literally just wear this dress as is. And then probably also add more detail with my jewelry like I did with these earrings here. But something like this, where it's such a rich color and texture, and it's also full length, feels so magical on its own that it doesn't need too much else. But of course, I want to lean into it a little bit more, so let's add a few things. And you guys have seen this combination before, but it really is just one of my favorites. I really love the gold embroidery with this deep green velvet, and of course adding the corset belt really ties it all together. So don't be afraid to play with layering, especially right now with sheer items being quite trendy and popular. So those are the perfect items to throw on top of other things and create really cool combinations with them. As much as I absolutely adore this outfit though, it is getting quite hot outside. So clearly I won't be able to wear this dress anytime soon. Let's see if I can come up with a decent elf outfit that won't have me sweating quite so profusely. This is what I came up with for the moment for another elf outfit. It's a little bit more like casual ranger elf, definitely less regal than the first outfit. Again, we have lace up on the top and some very intense bell sleeves. I feel like bell sleeves are perfect for an elf-inspired kind of outfit. These are like a faux suede kind of legging, and I think the texture is perfect for fantasy-inspired kinds of outfits, but it can get very hot. So on a hot day, I'd probably just swap in some plain black regular leggings. And as always, riding boots, belts, just have fun with it. And then I went with like a leather cord necklace with a crystal on it. If I wanted to be a little bit less conspicuous, I would just lose the belts, and that would be more casual for day-to-day wear. I actually have put together a pirate costume with this blouse and these faux suede leggings before. So again, I am taking very loose inspiration with these character types, but a lot of these pieces are quite mix and match, just trying to create something that looks vaguely like you're out of a fantasy realm. And before we leave Middle-earth, I want to do a couple human outfits, but still sticking with rangers particularly. I feel like a human ranger is gonna be a little bit more gritty and earthy, and that would probably show up in the textures of their clothing. So I switched back to the linen lace-up top, went with this cardigan that has a very loose knit to it. I kept the faux suede leggings. I also have like these arm warmers that I made out of some old socks. Not sure if they're really necessary. I feel like something's a little bit off though. I'm not really sure what. Maybe I should switch to just black jeans. I don't know, I don't think it makes that much of a difference. Maybe it's the belt bag? No, because now we're back at pirate. Anyway, okay, let's do the other ranger-based combination I was thinking of. Okay, I think I like this. I don't know if the arm warmers are necessary, but I feel like they're good in place of arm bracers. I don't have bracers, so I feel like the arm warmers kind of give that look, and I feel like I would normally go with leggings under the dress as well, but I don't feel like it right now, so this is what we're going with. I think this dress is it linen or cotton? Maybe it's a mix of both, I'm not sure. But again, we have a natural fiber, a muted kind of earthy tone of orange, it's got the lace up, and really the boots and the belt are what is pulling it all together. Yeah, with or without the arm warmers is fine. Actually, a couple weeks ago, I was wearing this dress and my 4-year-old nephew chases after me and he goes,
"Hey you! Where are you going in that beautiful dress?"
You like this dress?
Yeah, it has the string on the front.
Oh, you like it because it's piratey?
Uh-huh.
So there is at least one person in my life who's always encouraging me to wear these type of outfits. So now let's leave Middle-earth and move on to our last character type. And the last type of character I'm going to put together some outfits for is your fairytale witch, and the easiest way to do this is just a long black dress. This dress particularly is kind of my go-to. Again, it's one of those square neck puff sleeve midi dresses that are pretty common and easy to come by these days, and so the long black dress does most of the work for you, but then if you just add in some fun accessories with like wacky necklaces, lots of rings or bracelets or whatever you want, really, that's what's gonna sell it. I did still go with the black riding boots for this. I think typically I would go with my black roper boots. They're just a little bit smaller and sleeker, but this would be like my baseline, the easiest way to create that kind of look without too much fuss or detail. And here's another variation of kind of the same thing. So underneath I just have a plain regular black midi dress. It just has like spaghetti straps, and then over top I put this kind of sheer black dress thing. I don't actually know what it is, but I really love all the flowy layers of it, and the bell sleeves again are just perfect. And then I went with the corset belt over top of that just to cinch it all in. You don't have to if you like the looser flowy look, that looks cool too. There is a fine line between fairytale witch and just dark elf. This is also kind of giving dark elf, right? So obviously you don't have to use all black to create a fairytale witch inspired outfit. That's just what I have that works the best for that kind of look. I think colors like deep plum, olive, burgundy, maroon, any kind of dark colored, saturated color will work really well also, but I just wanted to go with all black. There are probably dozens more outfits I could put together with these items, but I'm pretty tapped out. So thank you guys for watching. If you made it all the way to the end, leave a flower emoji down in the comments, and I will see you guys next time. Bye! I feel like every video there's just one little bit of hair that's just like, and then like it all bleh. And before we leave Little Mer, so the